CDK Hailer and Lift program in my service department. It's easy to use, it makes sense, and it's good for both the customer and us.
E-payments, when you think about it, is really about enabling integration between the CDK DMS and third-party point-of-sale applications that dealers will use to take payments from customers.
It is extremely heartening to see a positive ecosystem taking shape.
It was probably one of the best integration experiences we've had in that arena.
Using Fortellis as the bridge within CDK, it has advanced us to outperform the competition.
If another DMS came to us and wanted to do an integration through Fortellis, it actually really simplified to be able to use a lot of the same functionality, features, integrations that we did with CDK to bring them on board.
Okay, folks, it's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, high noon, and welcome to this exciting Fortellis InVent. During this InVent, we're going to have a great discussion today about the newest APIs available today on the Fortellis platform. And these are an exciting set of APIs available, brought to you by ELEAD. For those of you who are familiar with ELEAD, it's probably the coolest CRM I've ever seen. And I had a personal experience to actually meet the team about a year ago at each of their offices. It's a great bunch, and I know that from the Fortellis side of the house, we are so excited to be able to have them be part of this and to allow for great integration for all the ISVs who are participating and being part of the Fortellis platform. Ernest, welcome. Glad to see you here from Cincinnati. Do me a favor, eat some Skyline chili for me. I miss Cincinnati. You don't get good Skyline in Florida. I'm going to go ahead and begin this by talking first about how this came to be. I mean, the ELEAD's process was a slow process. It's always exciting to create a good, rich set of information that can be available. And so they worked very diligently to create the perfect set of 4 APIs, hitting the demand note that what everybody wanted. And so from there, the next process was to actually select some individual companies that could test out and really be a beta provider or a beta tester of that product. They got to know the APIs, understood the workflows, how things worked. And then from there, they carefully walked into a couple of pilot dealers. And these pilot dealers really gave some great feedback. One of those beta testers is a company called Matador. And I had the chance to sit down with Nick from Matador and talk at length about it. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and hand the floor over to him. I'm going to go ahead and bring on our interview, and then I'll bring him back in for questions as well. So I hope you folks enjoy this neat little video.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm head of growth and operations at Matador. My background is mostly automotive. I've worked at the agency side of things. I've also worked directly with car dealerships while I was at Auto Trader, as well as when I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And Matador is a customer experience platform. Our long-term vision is to improve the overall experience for the end user. Everything got started late 2019. We had that crazy idea to enhance and to improve the overall customer shopping experience. We reached out to connections and friends of ours to pilot the project, and just in a matter of a couple of months, we actually had very good traction from word of mouth, and then the pandemic hit. So that put us in a very awkward situation because of the product and the feedback and everything we've managed to capitalize on the whole newer way of doing things. A few months ago, we realized that Fortellis, where they were actually promoting open platform, so we started looking at the different APIs available. We actually got a lot of feedback from our dealers that they were looking for more in-depth integration between our Matador platform and their ELEAD CRM. So we just felt it could actually be a good time to get a hold of you and your team, and the response was very good. So you were open to consider us to go in the beta program, and we just took it from there. We actually had a couple of dealers that expressed some feedback, in some cases pain points. So they were asking questions such as, would it be possible to actually see what's going on in Matador, but to have it in my ELEAD interface, it was like an easy job to identify a couple of dealers to get started working with. The response was great. So we've identified like 4 or 5 dealers of ours to begin working with. We did about a couple of weeks pilot. I still remember when we decided to flip the switch and turn on things. They all started calling at the same time saying, hey, Nick, you know what? Now I can see everything going on in Matador. I see it in ELEAD. We can get all the benefit from your platform, plus the visibility of everything you do great in ELEAD. You know what, Brian? We actually had a very good experience working with the whole team.
Awesome. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and pop open through the magic of the internet here, pop open things and bring our friend Nick online. Nick.
Hey, Brian. How are you today?
Good to see you. You know, I just to forewarn you, you're getting ganged up on. I know you're trying to stay warm in Canada, but I'm looking at a lot of my friends here that are joining today from Florida. I see you got Mike over in Boca. I got one of my friends over in Orlando. So we're down here letting you know that when you decide to be a snowbird, you're welcome to come down and warm up.
Anytime, Brian. It's actually freezing here today in Canada.
That's awesome. So I know you talked a little bit about the Matador platform inside your inside the InVent video we just watched, and I've encouraged the team to go ahead and ask questions as well. Can you tell me just a little more about some of the features and the benefits of your product?
Yeah, of course. So one thing we quickly realized working with dealers is that whenever you are looking to increase the number of sales, it actually requires involvement, engagement, and conversations. So our end goal at Matador is to increase and facilitate those type of meaningful conversations between clients, prospects, and the dealers.
It's great. It's great stuff. And so you ended up having, what, 2 or 3 different pilot dealers?
Yeah, we identified 2 dealer groups that are quite close to us, and I'm going to take the opportunity to mention them and to thank them for their participation. And they're actually not far from you in Florida. One of them is the Wallace Auto Group, and the other one is Morgado Automotive Group.
Excellent. Well, we've got to figure out once we get past the pandemic phase how we all get together at one of these stores and maybe see this whole thing in action. That's great stuff. So if you could sum up, maybe in just a couple of words, your experience with working with the folks over at ELEAD in the beta process. It's always difficult when you're trying something new. Anything stand out that you want to share with us?
Yeah, of course. So overall, we're very satisfied with the experience collaborating with the Fortellis and the ELEAD team. So it was a seamless experience from the very beginning. We were aligned. I think whenever we do something like from a development standpoint of view, what's the most important is to make sure that we deliver value to our end users. And I'm pretty proud that we've accomplished that. So we got great feedback working with your team as well as working with our dealer groups.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you add more dealers and that phone that you described in the video keeps ringing with more people saying, look, it works.
That's the idea, Brian.
Great stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have you sit down and relax for a little bit here, Nick. We'll bring you back on towards the end with more questions. And I'm going to go ahead and pivot now and talk a little bit about our friends over at ELEAD. I'm excited that we've got 3 different guys from the ELEAD team that will be here. We're going to have Chris Bryant, who will join us here in a moment, along with Andrew, both from the development side of the house, and we also have Brian, who's going to join us, who's the product manager. But before we do, I'm going to have one other team member join in. I had the privilege to spend a couple of hours talking with Kent, who was also on the team. And he really, I think, brings to life what the API functionality and capabilities are. He brings a great passion to it. He's been with ELEADs from the very beginning. So I'm going to be quiet for now and let Kent go and tell his story and tell you a little more about the APIs.
Hi, I'm Kent Taylor. I am a developer manager for CDK ELEAD integrations team. ELEAD is a robust CRM that has many features. It has been in the industry for a very long time. One of ELEAD's claim to fame from my point of view is the integrations that we do. ELEAD is DMS agnostic and integration agnostic. We try to and advocate integrating with as many third parties as we are able to. the original owners for ELEAD had the call center, and they wanted to create a more fluid way to log customers so that they could help feed the call center with all of the true records instead of requiring dealerships to write things on paper and stuff like that and fax them in, which is very tedious. So they contracted out a team in Destin, Florida to create the original CRM. When the contract was done and they delivered the CRM, they bought out that development company, and that became the development shop that is down here in Destin today. When CDK acquired ELEAD, one of the low-hanging fruit or the goals immediately was that with CDK having Fortellis, it makes very good sense for ELEAD to start exposing all of our APIs that we can onto Fortellis to allow third parties to use them and to better enhance the dealer experience. We have published 4 APIs into Fortellis. We have the ELEAD product reference data, which is the helper API. We have the ELEAD sales activities. We also have the ELEAD sales customers. And last but not least, we have the ELEAD sales opportunities. ELEAD product reference data, which is our helper API. A third party can look at opportunity sources. You can look at opportunity sales steps. You can get lists of employees. You can get lists of positions that are set up at the dealership. Sales customers allow you to get customers, update customer records, and search customers. The ELEAD sales opportunity is the core API. It is what ELEAD CRM did not have exposed in API form at any point before. A third party is allowed to modify the opportunity. You can create a new opportunity or modify existing. You can add vehicles of interest, trade in vehicles, and also send emails to the CRM customer, which is the core of the CRM. There's also the ELEAD Sales Activities API, the place where third parties can get the activity types, and from there they can complete activities, they can schedule activities, and they can also fetch activity history for a given opportunity. The ELEAD activities are the actions taken by the dealer for the opportunity and the ELEAD customer. The Fortellis operations team has been very helpful for us. They have helped walk my team through being an API provider and all of the steps required for us to start publishing our APIs on Fortellis. It's been great to have them. I can also see from the other side that they are working with the third parties like Matador and such to help onboard them and bring them on and into the fold, and they help bridge the gap between my team being an API provider and the API consumers that are coming into Fortellis.
Great stuff. It looks like I've got Brian that popped on there right away. I didn't expect that. Brian, I'm going to go ahead and I got you live. We might as well take a second here. You want to give a shout out? I know we talked with Matador, but they weren't the only people involved in the beta process, right?
No, Brian. So we had 2 very helpful beta third parties, Matador and Digital Airstrike. And working with those teams has been a great experience. A lot of the feedback that we've gotten, requests, things that will help both them and our product, and allowed us to kind of like pivot and make the changes and find things that we didn't expect or see coming. They've just been a real pleasure to work with.
That's great. I didn't mean to put you on guard there. The joys of live broadcasting. Sometimes the software makes decisions we weren't ready for. I'm going to go ahead and rest you back for just a second, then I'll bring you back on. So appreciate you being a trooper there, Brian. So again, first of all, a big shout out to Kent. Thank you for taking the time to work on that video. We spent a couple of hours talking back and forth, trying to get the right thing. He looks great on camera. I think he's got me beaten. I'm going to just also take a second here to give a shout out to some of the people posting comments on here again. Love to have more questions if you got them. John, thanks for joining from across the pond. Gratis, I'm glad to see the weather's still nice in Tennessee. It's always beautiful there. Looks like Sydney's joined us from Texas. Is it like nice today, or is there snow? You never know what you're going to get in Texas. Keep those comments coming down below. Add those posts in. And I'm going to do a little more formal job here of introducing all the team members. So let me just jump over here and kind of bring everybody back on all at the same time. On our top left, we have Andrew, who's part of the development team. In the middle, we have Chris, who's also part of the development team. And everyone got a sneak peek of Brian, the product owner. I kind of feel like we're doing like a TV broadcast. Am I supposed to pit you guys against each other? I think I'm gonna start off at the top of the list here, and I'm gonna probably throw that first question out to you, Andrew. It's it was great watching the video and getting a high level understanding of those different APIs. And Kent had talked about this briefly in the interview we had with him. He was talking about how when they got into the beta process, that they discovered that one of the APIs there was some opportunities for improvement. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yes. So one of the things we discovered was the product we put out there was you could search for a customer in ELEAD by, say, first and last name. You could get their ID, but then you could not come back in with that ID and find their opportunities. So what we did was we identified what we could do to get that out quickly, and we built it, and we quickly iterated from version 1 to version 2 of our opportunities API and got that out there with that new feature in place.
That's awesome. It's always fun to see fast iteration. Chris, do you have any other color to that experience?
It was interesting because we came down to the wire, and it was the opportunity is now to launch this V2 that the added value by, I think it delayed us by a day or two, but the team all came together and we got it done. And I think the value add from that extra 2-day delay was totally worth it for all of us. Now we have that V2 API available, and Matador gets that additional functionality. So I think the value was great there.
That's awesome. And just speaking in generality about API architecture, probably one of the coolest things about the architecture and the way the modern APIs are designed is that you're able to iterate quickly and offer an introduction of new items. You can run a very, very short product life cycle to kind of build on that and grow on it. Both of you have a lot of experience with API architecture, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Any thoughts on the way that it's done within the Fortellis platform?
Sure. So one thing, the first step for us was to look at Fortellis.io and go look at their resources available to us. What were their developer docs? Did they have any guidelines? And thankfully they did. We followed all of them to as best we could to a T. And when you're developing the API, we meet and we talk about what is the business looking for, and then we're coders, so we like to get into it and we start building little prototypes, and then the next step is to upload that API to Fortellis, and it goes through another review, obviously with their team as well. And then if there's any back and forth, we just keep making it better every time.
That's great. That's great. And kudos to the team, because I was just the other day, I was actually on the API directory. I was checking out the ELEAD APIs, and you've got great documentation, live, vibrant, colorful documentation that totally explains how the system operates, and makes it pretty easy for someone even like myself that's not the most technical to kind of wrap my head around the way that system can work. It's always interesting working with dealerships, because there's no two dealer that's exactly alike. I know my personal background, I spent a lot of years involved in inventory management, and it amazed me that no two dealers even handled their inventory the same way. Do one of you want to talk a little bit about the helper API that's included in this suite? Because this really kind of makes it easier for an ISV to kind of customize for that dealer.
Sure, I can take that one. So the helper API, it's company specific based on your particular subscription. So a dealer has their subscription, and we can return data to them that's specific to their particular location. Things like what our expected year, make, model, and trim values are, say if you were building a drop down to make those selections, to what our opportunity sources are available, say, so that you get credit as a lead provider for the lead you're providing to ELEAD.
Wow.
And the helper API obviously there's a lot to it. So it's hard to talk about all the points of it, but we tried to build a set of helper APIs that would span the other 3 APIs we have available: the activities, opportunities, and customers.
Cool. So that attribution aspect is something that's always fascinated me, because there's so many companies out there interacting with dealers, and it's always difficult to really tie that source back sometimes. And the ability to have proper attribution assignment seems to be a huge win for that product. I'm just not being distracted, looking down, making sure I'm not missing any questions. Looks like it's everyone kind of bantering back and forth, but nothing huge there. So if I could just kind of ask maybe a more general question about the opportunity, not the opportunity side, but the activity side of the house. It interested me to hear how someone's able to basically take care of an email, for example, to a dealer. Is this something where the ISV or the provider has to actually send that email, or does it run through your system so that it looks more consistent? Can you one of you explain that to me a little better?
Yeah, we actually do deliver the emails through our system. So they send the request to say, here's the subject, the body, the from address, who it's going to, and we have the infrastructure in place to actually send the emails out, and then we record that activity on the opportunity as well, so that you can go into the ELEAD CRM and track that activity.
So what other methods of contact do you guys really log in there besides email? Does it also get into text messaging and SMS?
Yeah, we do SMS and text messaging as well. Yeah.
Excellent. So go ahead.
I was going to say I wanted to expand on the email activity. So in addition to ELEAD actually sending the email on behalf of the requester, there is also an option for the ISV themselves to send the email externally and then just provide us with the details as a historical entry, and we'll capture that, and it'll also be displayed within the ELEAD CRM.
So really best of both worlds.
Correct.
That's great to see that kind of flexibility. That's awesome. Brian, I'm gonna call you out again. You've had a chance to obviously get some feedback from some of the ISVs that are working on the product, and we're obviously now aggressively signing on more and more people to be involved.
Right.
Can you provide maybe just a little insight into how the team is there to support an ISV that wants to use your product?
So we're large practitioners and have been for 10 years or so of agile development processes. And the opportunity that you pointed out earlier at the beginning of the Q&A session of allowing us to go in and create the V2 version of the Opportunities API is a great example of why we want ISV dealership feedback, and why pilot dealers and pilot third parties are so important. They allow us to see things that we miss, see things at the store level, at the ISV level, and because we are an agile house, we can go in and make these. We bake in knowing that these are things that we are going to need to adjust as it goes forward. And that's primarily the main way we support the ISVs and dealerships in this regard as the devs. It turn our quick turnaround time on, oh, you need that. And I know we wanted to discuss it as we get near towards the end, but if anyone has any things that they'd like to see in these APIs, things that you haven't seen mentioned in either any of the videos or our conversations, if you want to put them in chat or raise the question so Brian can give it to us, that would be fantastic.
That's awesome, and that says a lot about the organization. Brian is right. The fact that they want that feedback, they want to build the best system they can. I'd encourage you to take a second, drop a chat, send an email to us, reach out to your reps if you need to. Let us know what specific API features you need to really make the most of your product so that it extends down to all of our respective dealers. And the one thing I think I love the best about when I heard ELEAD coming on was the fact that Fortellis itself has always been about being an agnostic platform, a platform that can work with any system, any DMS, anything. And ELEAD is not necessarily something that is strictly a CDK link. Not everybody that's using ELEAD has that particular DMS. Could you speak a little bit just to the size of the customer base within ELEAD, Brian?
Oh wow!
I put you on the spot. If you don't have a solid answer, just be general. It's okay.
Yeah. So I do not have a exact number of, for example, dealerships that are on the platform. The CRM specifically, I mean, it's obviously in the thousands. But we do work with extensively pretty much every DMS and OEM from an integration standpoint. So us on this call, we integrate as close as possible and is available to pretty much everyone. There are, and as new API technologies at the ISVs come up, we jump on and prioritize moving over to them with the customer, the dealer in mind, basically. So obviously both the ISV and us are wanting to give the dealers what they need. And so we prioritize getting the function out there and then keeping up to date with any of their updates as they iterate through and get greater technology on their side.
Cool. And now that he can take a breath, I threw one that was a little tough. Brian kind of looked at me sideways on that one. Easy question that I'll throw back at you. One of the team members or one of the people in the chat had asked if you'd be opposed to maybe down the road doing like a jam session or an idea session where some people can come in and maybe have like a Zoom meeting or something and just share feature concepts.
I think that's a great idea. I think it is in line with what CDK as a whole wants to do going forward, using it as market research. Obviously, everybody outside is what's giving us our problems that we need to work on. And the closer we interact with you all, the better.
Perfect. So if we end up go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that real quick that as a developer and as the API provider, to have real data to work with, it there's, like he said, there's always tweaks that need to be made because there's certain assumptions and certain limitations we have with test data when building the APIs that when we get with these ISVs to start like a beta program, then it's like, oh yeah, we didn't think about this case, and that just makes the APIs that much more rich in their functionality, and that helps a lot. So we're always open to bring more on.
Cool. Andrew, any final thoughts on your side of the house?
No, I'd like to say that it would be nice to get that feedback because the ELEAD CRM has been around for a long time, and so some of the things that we built are built on the numerous requests that came in over the years of building that CRM, and so we'd love to propel it forward by getting even more feedback.
Cool. So I guess stay tuned, everybody. And if I hear more about scheduling one of these dates, then I will go ahead and probably add it to this to the LinkedIn page where you've all kind of accepted the invite, which would mean everyone on this call would get that notification. So more to come on that. You might have heard something new here first, which is always exciting. I do want to take a second here to just kind of go around the room, and I want to thank everybody for participating. First of all, I really want to thank Brian because I felt like I kind of put him on the spot there for a minute. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Oh, no, thank you. It's a great opportunity to be here.
Yeah, and any final thoughts from you?
Not particularly, but I do. Whoever asked the question and brought up idea sessions, jam sessions, things like that, shout out to you. Because that's a great thing to bring up and get in people's heads. I would love to see that start happening. And I think it will help the team out tremendously.
Cool. Kevin, any last minute thoughts or shout outs on your end? I'm sorry, Chris. Chris, any last minute shout outs?
Just thanks for being here. And we're super excited about having APIs that are live on Fortellis to actually see real transactions going through right now. And we're excited. And we're only going to grow from here in terms of customer base and functionality. We're going to keep growing, and we're excited.
Excellent. So anybody on the call that's looking to get involved, you now have a face to connect with that API that you select. As an ISV, as a provider, a publisher, you too can go in, get that account set up on Fortellis, register your organization, start building that first API, that first app in your developer account. When you create that first app, go right in there and select ELEAD, pick out these four options, the 4 ELEAD APIs that are available live today, and get started. We're looking forward to seeing how you can help grow your business, and help us at the same time by providing that feedback and making a better product and a better dealer experience for everybody. And with that, I'm going to wave off you guys. Thanks again so much. I'm going to take a second and bring Nick back on. He kind of was in the background there for a little bit. And I have everybody on but Nick. Come back, Nick. I got you.
Hey, me again.
So, hey, thanks again for coming on board. Any other final thoughts on some of what you've heard there?
I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to the team because, believe it or not, we've managed to accomplish all that development through a lot of different emails, but I never really had the opportunity to see everyone's face. So I want to say hi to everyone and thank you.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We've managed to get this done on time. I will again encourage you one last time to get onto Fortellis. If you're not already a user, register that account. If you are, and you have your company in there, register that company. If you've done that and you're considering using the ELEAD APIs, it's really easy. Go in, create a new app, select those ELEAD APIs, register that app, jump into your marketplace setting, and enable those ELEAD connections today. We have teams standing by to help you develop that the best way we can and get you out to market soon. And again, do the best we can to quickly innovate, collaborate, and make a better tomorrow for the automotive industry. With that, I'll thank you once again for showing up today. Look forward to seeing you at our next event, and happy selling.